Roberts, and you are listening to 3 Count Thursday. Hope you enjoy it.
A little bit of the bubbly.
I did it for The Rock.
Give me what I want.
Everyone has a price for the $1 Million Man.
It's about the 14 years it took me to go from undesirable to un-goddamn deniable.
Mamma mia!
3 ain't enough now, I need 5. Welcome in Jim, Ryan, Matt, Tim, and intern Mark.
They think they got the answers. I change the questions.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to 3 Count Thursday. We are live here on Thursday, May the 21st, 2020. I had to check not only the day of the week, but the actual date because I forgot that today was Thursday earlier today. I don't know how anybody else is at this point, but I honestly forgot that today was Thursday until about 2 o'clock this afternoon. We have tons to talk about this week, and we're going to get to it, but make sure you go to 3countthursday.com. That is our homepage. You can find all of our social media links. You can find the subscribe links to our show. Make sure you check that out on all podcast platforms, including Spotify. We are on Spotify now, so if you go to Spotify, search 3 Count Thursday. We have our merchandise over at whatamaneuver.net. We didn't hear it. Ryan, are you muted or are you just echoing me? You're not muted, are you?
No, he's not.
Oh, he's just being a dick. What an asshole. Thanks, Ryan. We have our Patreon page. Our home network is at NGSC Sports at ngscsports.com.
You didn't unmute me, you dick!
I didn't. You weren't muted.
Move! That's on you.
That wasn't on me. And we have our we stream daily at leebsports.com. Ryan, that would be, oh my God, LEEIB sports.com. Ryan's being a dick. We're gonna have a fun night. If you are following along on the live video, please give it a like, please give it a share. We'd appreciate that. Get as many people in here as possible. And I'm an idiot because I should have started up with the 10 bells, and I apologize for that. Obviously, this week, extremely sad news with the tragic and untimely passing of former WWE superstar Shad Gaspard. Passed away at the age of 39. He was swimming with his son in Venice Beach, California, a few days ago, and I guess it was a rip current that got a hold of him, and in his final act, he instructed lifeguards to save his son's life. From the post on the WWE's website, Gaspard was best known as one half of Crime Time with JTG. The fan favorite duo memorably joined forces with John Cena during his 2008 rivalry JBL, competed for the WWE Tag Team titles at SummerSlam in 2009. Shad and JTG would later square off in a heated fashion after falling out in 2010. He was, this is also again from the WWE's post. He was also a multi-talented individual, creating his own graphic novel and acting in several TV shows, films, including Brothers and Think Like a Man 2. His wife Celiana posted a statement on Instagram saying that Arya, myself, and the Gaspard and Chitlick families would like to take this time to thank everyone for their prayers and support as we mourn the terrible loss of our beloved Shad. He was our whole world, and we were his. There is not enough words to describe what he means to all of us. He was our heart, our soul, our protector, our warrior. He was a bright force of nature who brought joy to many through his joyous and gracious nature. The outpouring of love from Shad's friends, colleagues, and fans has meant more to us than you can even imagine. We'd like to once again thank the lifeguards, Coast Guard, divers, fire and police departments for their efforts. Shad was and always will be our real life superhero. I love you more, my love. So yeah, obviously, just an absolute tragedy this week in the world of wrestling, and the unfortunate thing with everything else going on in the world, sometimes we like tend to forget that there are other things that happen, good and bad. And this is an unfortunate reminder that there are still tragedies outside of the current medical situation in the country and in the world. So, I think this was the period of time where Crime Time was in the WWE and where Shad was in the WWE was a time that was kind of when I was away from wrestling. So, in a similar way to like when legends pass, I don't necessarily have like a lot of thoughts or memories from his career, but the things that I saw fans and superstars posting all week about him, I mean, tells you exactly the type of not only performer that he was, but the type of person that he was. So it's honestly just a it's a real crappy deal.
Yeah, real tough. Was I think a really fun gimmick at the time what they did with Crime Time. I know specifically for myself, and I can probably speak for Matt, down at the Icons Festival last November. They were down there, and just a ray of sunshine. You had to be drawn to his personality. He's what, 6', he's huge, big guy, tall guy. But his personality just really filled the room down at the 2300, and you can see that the people that he interacted with, even myself very briefly, was just very courteous, very fan oriented, very friendly. And then from what I'm hearing, that's the style this guy was. Like that is what he was. And not all that said, like he went out an absolute hero, did I think what most fathers would do, but made a split second decision that I would consider him an absolute hero.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely, by all accounts. And I mean, obviously you're not going to get a ton of negative stories anyway when situations like this happen, but I mean, there is just a ton, like people that you wouldn't even really expect, don't really speak out about wrestling that much anymore. I've seen a ton of activity on Twitter just with like former stars, former coworkers of his, just everyone echoing the same sentiments that Ryan said, just an all around huge energy, a big person in general, but just the energy to match it. And in reading the report and how everything happened in his final words saying, "Save my son," is pretty tough to hear. And as unfortunate it was, I think we all kind of knew when we heard that, the search had been called off, that the news we were going to hear wasn't going to be great. So at least for his family to get that closure, that they can, put him to rest, I think is kind of a big deal, because not all families that deal with something in that situation get that same type of closure. So I am happy that they were able to, because from the looks of it, that whole family just seems very close. Seems like that would be very important for him and for them to be able to do that and mourn him the right way.
Yeah, it's a great point that in these situations and when the news first broke, I mean it's one of those things where unfortunately there's not usually a lot of great endings with those, but obviously the way he went out. Frank or Charlie here says, don't know about you guys, been a really sad week with the news of Shad Gaspard, and of course the Dark Side of the Ring episode with Owen Hart. yeah, that one, and we'll talk a little bit, time permitting, about some of the things coming out of that and the media coverage around it. Frank says with all the good that he seemingly had in the wrestling industry, I wonder why we didn't see him more like on the indie scene. And I don't know if that was just more of a choice that, he spent more time with family or whatever. I don't know. But obviously for people like you guys that saw him at the Icons show, and there's other stories like that from various people I saw throughout the week, like when he did make appearances, be it at a show or be it at a convention or something like that, the impression always seemed to be pretty good. So obviously an absolute tragedy. 39 years old is far too young, and to go out, a hero to save his son, is just a it's a gut punch, to the wrestling industry, to the world. I mean, the story of him, what I think, breaking up like a bank robbery or carjacking or something. So, I mean, this is a guy that was absolutely a good person, always. So, again, Shad Gaspard passing away at 39. So, just unfortunate way to start the show this week, but we will move on here. Obviously, AEW Double or Nothing is this weekend, so we're going to run down the card here and make our predictions for the show. 9 matches, one of them on the pre-show, or as they call it, the buy-in. Cards, gambling, got it. Obviously this one, it will be held at a empty Daly's Place in Jacksonville. It was originally scheduled to take place in Las Vegas at the MGM Grand, like last year's Double or Nothing did. But
you get it, gambling.
Yeah, gambling. You got it. Ding. Let me get you your ding there, Ryan. Obviously with everything going on, empty arenas and empty buildings are the name of the game here in 2020. So AEW in the similar place. The main show on this one starts at 8:00. I believe the buy-in probably 7 or 7:30. We will get our question of the week as we plug away here.
The 3 count question of the week.
As we plug away on the card. But let's start at the bottom. This is the buy-in match. It is Dustin Rhodes taking on Sean Spears. I don't know if you guys caught Double or Nothing, Dynamite last night, or if he's been doing this a couple weeks now. But the Sean Spears news, it's kind of like a news segment. Pretty solid, pretty entertaining. I think it's probably one of the more entertaining things that Sean Spears has done in AEW. So for this one, I have Spears picking up the win. It seems like he's getting a bit of a TV push here. Obviously not like a face push, but he's getting TV time. So I'm going to go with Spears picking up the win over Dustin Rhodes. I'm drinking cherry Pepsi tonight, Ryan. At least as of right now. Yeah.
Oh shoot. Okay, I didn't know we were at that segment of the show yet.
That's an ongoing segment.
Oh, is it? I only have one thing to drink, so I'll have to flash up other things.
Oh.
Well, no, that's on my OnlyFans site. You can also see me when I went into the woods with. Never mind, that's a long story. I don't want to go there.
At least it was sunny out, though.
It was sunny out. It was really sunny out. And then it got really cloudy and real dark.
Yeah.
I don't know. Dustin Rhodes.
All right.
As much as I would like to see Dustin Rhodes win, I just don't think it makes a whole lot of sense for him too. So, yeah.
Charlie's drinking a Moscow Mule tonight, so that's a lot of fun.
They're in those tin cups or something, right?
And copper. Well, I mean, it could be in a tin cup, I guess.
What the fuck out there.
But typically, if you're doing it properly, copper. Devin says Dustin Rhodes will pick up the win here. Then we have I'm going to skip over the Stadium Stampede. We'll come back to that one. We got a tag team match to determine the number 1 contender for the AEW World Tag Team Championship. The Private Party taking on the best friends. I'm gonna cards. I get it.
Cards.
I get it because it's
And
gambling.
poker.
Double
You
or
get
nothing.
it? Gambling.
Got it. It all makes sense.
I didn't get it. Oh shit! You're bald again.
Yeah.
Look at you.
I broke down over the weekend. So it was Saturday. I just had enough. I couldn't do it anymore.
Magic.
But private party taking on the best friends. I have Chuck and Trent, the best friends, picking up the win here. This is one I feel like both teams need to win here. And maybe they'll find a way to make that happen, but I'm going to go with best friends.
Yeah, Jim, I think you're right. I'm wearing a Chuck Taylor shirt today, so
like that.
absolutely in the side of best friends, 100%. They're friends, and they're best for each other.
They're best friends,
and they like to gamble because of poker.
Sure. But private party probably hosts a lot of private poker parties. So I mean, if you want to keep playing off that, I just think that the momentum that private party has is just, they need to like do something with it at this point. I think the fans have kind of been in their corner for a while. So, I mean, we want to see that pay off at this point. But if the best friends would end up winning, I wouldn't be disappointed, but my pick is private party.
Cool. And Charlie says he is drinking that is with pear vodka.
Oh.
Pear vodka. That doesn't sound good.
No.
I mean, I'm not much of a vodka guy to begin with. Pear vodka doesn't sound good, but hey, you like it, Charlie? Drink up, my man. Devin has private party picking up the win. Again,
It's
if you're
better than hair vodka.
Probably, I would imagine. That's disgusting. But if you are with us in the live video, again, give it a share. Get some people in here. Maybe start a watch party. I know I did. I believe Ryan did.
I started a private watch party.
Oh,
hey.
With best
Matthew bringing
Very
out the
good.
privates.
Getting a good zinger there. Then we got a singles match. Chris Statlander against Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. If her leg's still attached to her body, that there was a kind of an ugly spot last night in the tag match where Nyla Rose was like tossed down onto Britt Baker in the corner, and like I think Britt's leg wasn't flat on the ground, and when Nyla Rose landed, it like if her leg didn't break, I'm surprised. What's that look for?
I just feel like you're teeing up a Nyla Rose is a large girl joke, and it's unnecessary.
I'm not. I'm just saying that that was the spot in the match, and her leg, that she couldn't really get up after that.
Right.
Dr. Britt Baker. Right. So I haven't seen
why?
anything. I haven't
big
seen
old Nyla Rose, right?
I didn't say that.
Jim, this is not, it's such an ugly hat you're choosing to wear now, Jim.
No, it's my collar and elbow hat.
Oh, I like that hat.
You can get it on the Collar and Elbow brand store and use promo code 3count, get 10% off.
They're also doing a really cool shirt for Gaspard as well on there.
They are, and all
proceeds
go to the
family.
Family.
Yeah.
So yeah, head over to store.collarandelbowbrand.com to check that out and to use our promo code 3count for 10% off your order. But if Britt Baker can compete and this match goes on, I am going to predict Dr. Britt Baker, who is a dentist, by the way, DMD.
Chris Statlander. I don't know. Not. I don't care about this match at all. I really wish I liked the women's division more than I do, man. I just can't do it. Sorry.
Still rough. It's still rough.
Not a surprising take from Ryan there, though.
Oh, what?
The fuck does that mean?
Oh, So first of all, let me apologize to former guest of the show, Nyla Rose, for Jim's body shaming.
Come on! No! I will not be that guy. I didn't hit any sound bites that Ryan winked at me to play or anything like that. That is not something that
I'm just as upset as Matt. How am I getting blamed for this?
Yeah, I know what you did. You sent me a text. You're like, play the butt. I'm not going to do it.
What? I don't even know what soundbite you're talking about, Jim.
I'm not going to do it, Ryan. Anyway, Matt, continue with your spread more false fake news, news about me.
Our fans can hear. I mean, they pick up on your subtle jabs. So,
Again,
damn, that's a big bitch.
Again, Nyla, apologies. I think it makes the most sense to just have Britt Baker win. Jesus, have Britt Baker win. Just because I think that her storyline, her momentum with Nyla is more intriguing to me than Statlander.
Okay. Jim, I want to see you do that thing with the knife where you're like tap 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 whack.
No, because I don't want to end up having to go to a hospital because COVID.
Oh, that's the old dogfish head.
Oh, look at him pulling out the fall bruise. All right,
a little pumpkin.
Is that from October, or is that a new purchase?
No, these. I think I got them back in the fall. They were in the bottom of the fridge. I don't even remember I still had them. I had one last week, if you don't remember, when I held it up to when you got all angry about it.
I was probably panicking, looking for shit I can hang up.
Let's see here. Devin says Britt Baker. Cousin Brian pointed out that Dr. Britt Baker could use her dental x-ray machine on her leg.
She could.
Charlie says, how many doctors are in wrestling? We got Dr. D, Dr. Death, Dr. Tom, Dr. Yankum, Dr. Baker, the Doctor of Style Slick, Cousin Brian says. Papa Shango was a witch doctor.
That's a fair one.
John Cena, the Doctor of Thugonomics. We can't forget about him.
No.
I think that's all of them.
Woods has his PhD, correct?
He does. So he is an actual. I think that's all of them. I would say we should do a doctor draft, but I think we just covered all of them. Be a really short draft. All right, we got a no DQ and no count out match for the AEW Women's World Championship. Nyla Rose taking on Hikaru Shida. I got Nyla winning. I guess having the no DQ, no count out stipulation, you could certainly have some shenanigans, which obviously wouldn't hurt Nyla in any way, shape, or form to drop the title. I just don't see them dropping the title at this point. So I have Nyla.
Jim, I agree with you. I hear what you're saying, and really all Nyla needs to do is just fall on Sheeta's legs, and then Sheeta won't be able to perform anymore, and she'd win. So I hear what you're saying, and you've convinced me. Nyla Rose will win and retain.
I was just saying that was the spot in the match. It had
I just heard you again.
To it. Nothing else.
Yeah, I mean, I just made my pick based on the storyline that is most intriguing, which is Britt Baker versus Nyla. So for me to now turn around and say Nyla loses the belt wouldn't be very smart. So I'm not going to pull an intern mark on everyone. Where so I will say that Nyla retains.
All right, Nyla retains. Devin also has Nyla. Let's see, Cousin Brian still pointing out doctors there with the doctor who delivered the Mae Young's hand.
Oh, sure.
Stone Cold posed as a doctor before hitting Vince with a bedpan. That's true.
True. There is the actual Dr. Maroon.
Yes. Yeah, Dr. Maroon. Can't forget about it. So Punk probably hasn't forgotten about him.
Punk hasn't forgot him.
All right, let's continue. There is the Casino ladder match for a future AEW World Championship match. Darby Allin, Colt Cabana, Orange Cassidy, Ray Phoenix, if he's still able to compete after last night. Woof. Well, that was a spot and a half.
Yeah.
Scorpio Sky, Kip Sabian, Frankie Kazarian, Luchasaurus, and a superstar to be announced Saturday night.
So how many are known, Jim?
8 out of 9. 8 out of 9 are known because it's a 9-man match.
So it is a 9-man match, you're saying, right?
Yes. Oh,
okay, just wondering.
Nice. You just
playing with the cards. It's a poker reference.
Yeah, right. Gotcha. Still drinking pumpkin ale, by the way.
All in.
So 2 parts to this one. First, we'll go with who do you think the 9th man will be?
2 parts.
Thank you. If you're not watching the video for this, you're making mistakes. So obviously if you're listening to the audio side on this one, we appreciate you subscribing, but you should head to our Facebook page or our YouTube page and watch the video, because you're missing some very very important. Thank you, Ryan. Very important parts. Charlie says this is the Money in the Bank match that isn't a Money in the Bank match.
Charlie's not wrong.
Charlie is not wrong. And Brian says it's too many men. I don't know if he's talking about this match or at his house or outside the window, or I don't know. You just said that's too many men.
It's because he poured that milkshake out.
That's true. He shouldn't have done that. It's very reckless to do in these trying times. So first part, who do you think the 9th man will be? I'm going to go ahead and say who it's not going to be, even though it's my pick of who it's going to be, and that is Drew Gulak.
So like
It's not going to be Drew Gulak. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Matthew.
I was just gonna say 0% chance. It's.
I don't want to go that far.
Okay.
I think there is a 0%. There's as good a chance that it's going to be Hootie and the Blowfish Singer, Darius Rucker, that it would be Drew Gulak. So it's not going to be Drew Gulak. I don't know who it's going to be though.
Well, who's your? Just make a pick.
Santana Garrett.
Okay, perfect. Matt.
NXT
superstar.
Santana Garrett coming over intergenderly, wrestling in this match.
Perfect.
Very nice.
Who do you got?
Zack Ryder.
Oh, there you go.
Ryder.
I
honestly love for it to be Zack Ryder.
I honestly wish that this match would be taking place before or after the 90 days run, the 90-day no competes run out, because then you would have so many so many options of who it could be. Charlie says, speaking of milkshakes, where's the intern? I don't know, man. I'm a little worried about Mark. He posted earlier today the negative number of days that he's been to Hershey Park this year.
That's tough.
I am very concerned about one intern Mark.
Probably watching 90 Day Fiance. It'll be fine.
Probably. Did that episode happen? Is that going to drop? Or are we still working on that?
Next Tuesday.
Awesome. Okay. I mean, I will have no frame of reference for it, but I might listen to it just because. Lou says Sting is going to be the 9th man. Yeah, Sting in a ladder match sounds like a great plan.
I guess he's free to sign.
I think he is. And well, Rollins isn't in the match, so he might be a little safer. Devin says the Invisible Man. Frank says Kurt Angle will be the 9th man. All right, now
I will say it's Joey Janela.
Jelly Janela, gotcha. Cool.
Why you gotta do that?
What? I said Joey Janela.
You're a bad boy. You're a bad boy.
All right, now to our prediction of who is going to win this match. I have Orange Cassidy. It was down to him or Darby Allin. To me, those made the two that made sense the most. But I'm going to give the edge here to Freshly Squeezed.
I'm gonna go with the dinosaur and say Luchasaurus picks up the W here.
Sure. I would say it's a 0% chance it's going to be Luchasaurus. 0.
Okay.
0% chance.
That's actually my pick.
Okay. I was going to go with an ex-WWE guy but I decided to go bold. Thought that maybe one day the AEW World Championship will be held by somebody who's not an ex-WWE guy. Kidding. That's never going to happen. A singles match, MJF with Wardlow versus Jungle Jack Perry. MJF, my God. It's got to be MJF winning this match.
Yes. 100% has to be.
Yeah, thank you, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, MJF has been like killing this gimmick since CZW, so I think that there's no way that they cannot have him win this. Like his momentum is just sky high at this point.
Yeah, and it's nothing against Jungle Boy, but I think you do a lot of damage to what you're building MJF to be by having him lose. Charlie has Jeff Cobb as his pick to be the ninth man. Kind of forgot about him, to be totally honest.
I had heard his AEW run is officially over. However, he could always resign.
Oh, was it a single shot?
It was a very short time. I don't think he's under contract anymore.
Wow. Okay.
He's on the alumni section of the AEW website.
Geez. Wow. Okay. Devin says MJF.
Sure. Devin would know.
All right. Let's go to the tournament final for the inaugural AEW TNT Championship. Cody with Arn Anderson and Brandy Rhodes taking on Lance Archer, of course, with Jake the Snake Roberts. Did you guys watch AEW last night by any chance?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That promo segment I thought was a little rough with Arn and Jake. It was a little rough.
It was okay. I didn't think it was like bad, but it
wasn't horrible. I just was like,
I don't think Arn's a great talker anymore. I mean, Jake can still pull you in with kind of whisper or real raspy thing. You believe Jake, and then Arn's just kind of like all airy and lungy, and I don't know. Just
Jake. Was he ever a good talker? I don't think Arn was ever a great talker.
I mean, I get what they're doing.
Sure, it makes sense. And like here's the thing. I guess maybe my thought about it not being great is Jake. I mean, he's still got the voice, he still has the presence, but it's not what it once was. Like, like this is your brain after drugs. And it's just a bummer. Like it just wasn't good.
The man had demons, Jim.
He did, and don't get me wrong.
And you're comparing him to scrambling eggs.
No, I'm just saying I'm glad that he is no longer. I'm glad that he's like clean and better. But like that segment, it bummed me out more than anything. It was like it was a bummer. Anyway, I have Cody winning. I think Cody's going to be your first TNT champ, and I'm fine with it.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I didn't like how the segment ended when they flipped the table and then Jake tries to grab Shivani and Shivani's out of position and they're stepping away from each other before anybody has to hold them back because they both know they can't do physically what they are thinking they should be able to do in this spot. So I get it. Those little
it's 2020, not 1993.
It's not. Man, I just don't know if Cody should be that guy. It kind of goes back to like the promoter and Booker putting himself over on an indie fed. I feel like that's what they're setting themselves up to do if they do that. So I'm gonna go with the Archie Archer.
But I guess in the same time, well, and I guess Omega is half of the tag champions, but like at some point, like you would think the Bucks are gonna have the tag titles and Cody and or Omega are gonna have the singles titles. Like, and I get it. Don't get me wrong, I get it. But are you using it because are you thinking that way because it's the first champion that they're gonna avoid? Booking themselves into that spot.
I don't know. I just don't. I don't know. I feel like if I was Cody, I could be in a really cool spot to put people over.
Okay.
And I wouldn't want to, if I was Cody, I wouldn't want to book myself as the champion. I would just put people over like a mother. I'd win matches for sure. You need to win matches to put people over eventually. But I would put Archer over here.
All right, Matt.
I mean, I understand the logic behind that statement because I mean Cody has typically done that too through AEW, but like you said, you have to win matches to put people over. So I think him having the belt first kind of gives him that ability to then put someone over when he finally drops it. So I think Cody's the inaugural champ, and I'm fine with it.
Very good. Charlie has Lance picking up the victory in the championship. All right, 2 matches left here. Which out of these two, the title match or the Stadium Stampede, which do you guys think is going to main event? I think it's going to be Stadium Stampede.
I agree.
Like, even, you know, I think it goes to one of those things, because I think leading up to like AEW's first shows or first pay-per-views, like, I think they alluded to the fact that they would always want the title match to go on last. Like, they wanted to have that be the most important match of the night, because at times we've seen the WWE not do that. So, like, as a way to differentiate themselves, I think they've said that. But in the same time, this is obviously this whole period of time is an extenuating circumstance, as we've talked about. But also, I just feel like the way that these matches have been built, like the lead up to them, I feel like the title match does not feel as important to this card as the Stadium Stampede. So that's why I think that the Stampede match is going to close the show.
I can agree with you. If you look at how, at least I know last night's, and it's hard for me to think back, but I know last night's Dynamite was booked like that, where your Moxley match was maybe the start of the second hour with 10, and then the whole Brody Lee thing, like leaving, that was middle of the show. Obviously, it ended with Guevara and Hardy, and then into the stadium. I just feel like that stadium thing's going to be such a big blow off that has to close the show. Like, that's going to be the thing that tears the place down, and you're going to see the transition.
How do you recover? And again, now that there's a crowd to bring down or whatever.
Sure.
But like just in viewing as a whole, like, I feel like the Stampede is going to be this like high crescendo. Anything after it, I feel like would be let downish, if you will.
Sure. Didn't I say it should close the show?
Yes, Matt. Did you?
I do think it will, but I mean, their only other alternative would be for it to open the show, and I don't think they do that with how big that match is. But I think that it can only be one of those 2 spots. Like, to have it either anywhere besides opening or closing just would not make sense at all.
Very good. So let's go to the World Championship match then, because I was just curious, like, people's thought about that. Devin says they already said Brody and Moxley will main event. Okay, I must have missed that.
Well, there you have it.
I also missed that. Yeah.
I also think that's a mistake. But anyway, we're going to go in the order that I think this should be booked. And we're going to go with the AEW World Heavyweight
Wait. Is Moxley Brody Lee unsanctioned? That's probably why it would go on last.
Oh, yeah.
I'm saying we're going to turn the lights off, turn the lights back on, and then we'll have that match.
Still have the AEW canvas and all the lights. And okay.
Right, that's how we'll do it.
AEW referee and referee shirt. Perfect.
That's how we'll do it.
Singles match for the AEW World Championship. Jon Moxley defending against Mr. McMahon, Brody Lee. I think Moxley is going to retain here. I think you run the risk of kind of hot potatoing your title a little bit, and I also think, right, wrong, or indifferent, I think you run the risk of in a year, less than a year's time, 3 ex-WWE guys being your first 3 champions. I'm saying that's the the rhetoric that could be laid out, if you will. So Moxley retains.
Yeah, we got to keep Dean Ambrose looking strong, Jim. I agree with you there, for sure.
Better than Luke Harper, at least.
I think so. Right. Man, Jon Moxley, I think will retain as well. I think there's enough left on the story here that we've not seen everything. I know Brody Lee in the physical possession of it. I think we can have Brody Lee still leaving physically with the possession of the championship, but Jon Moxley actually being victorious here, and then see this continuation on Dynamite for a few weeks to come. So I will say Johnny Mox.
All right, Matt, you.
Going into this, I said I was gonna not pick Moxley to win just because of like how much I've been a fan of Brody for so long. I still think he is top 3 technical wrestlers in like, well, now in AEW, but certainly in WWE as well.
Certainly.
So I've always enjoyed his style. But it's, I mean, you guys make the strong point. Like, can they take it off Moxley? Is he like big enough to have that belt at this point? Have they built him up enough since the debut? And the answer is probably no. Like, we know who he is, we know what he's capable of. And I mean, who knows how many casual fans there really are at this point. So they easily could if they wanted to, because they don't have to really appease anyone but their diehard wrestling fans. But at the end of the day, I think they'll just take the safe route and keep it on Moxley.
Devin predicts Moxley to win as well. Digging back here, Charlie says at some point the elite guys should have titles. They're putting people over and losing their own push. So yeah, I mean, at some point it is going to happen. Like we said, Omega already is one half of the tag team champions. So I think it really, again, is only a matter of time before the Bucks have the tag titles and Cody and or Omega end up with singles titles. It's going to happen. I don't imagine Cody Rhodes going his entire tenure wrestling with AEW, for as no matter how many number of years he wrestles, I don't see him not holding championship gold. So, and then we go to the Stadium Stampede. What's that, Matt?
I was asking, is that the next pay-per-view title that Ryan was holding up?
No, I folded. It wasn't a good hand.
The next, the final match here is the Stadium Stampede match. So I guess they said there will be a ring at the where the 50-yard line, the center 50-yard line would be, in the whatever the stadium, TIAA Bank Stadium, I think is the name of the Jacksonville Stadium. But falls can count anywhere and in the stadium. Like, you can go up into the seats, anywhere. So I mean, this is just going to be a cluster. It should be a lot of fun. This match I am looking forward to. But of course, it is Matt Hardy and the Elite of Adam Page, Kenny Omega, Matt and Nick Jackson, taking on the Inner Circle, Chris Jericho, Jake Hager, Sammy Guevara, and Santana and Ortiz. I have the Inner Circle picking up the win. I just feel like when you have the obviously the opportunity for shenanigans and this open-ended format of it can go anywhere, anything can happen. It's basically kind of a match that Chris Jericho created. I think it's probably the right choice for the Inner Circle to pick up the victory.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for the old bunkhouse brawl match here. No, I think I've been pretty supportive of AEW so far, and I've not bitched and picked on little things like production value when they cut to Chris Jericho, and we can't hear him. But it somehow caught Matt Hardy's attention in the ring, and then we still couldn't hear him, and then we still couldn't hear him. Just brutal mistakes still being made by their production team that just cheapens the look of their product.
That one was a tough one. That one was a tough one.
Love the moment when Adam Page came flying.
Oh man, that's an impressive run in cowboy boots.
It is an impressive run, but you need to hide him a little bit better because you released him from the 50-yard line on the side, and you saw him run the opposite direction, loop around.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. Really?
Yeah. Fuck.
Ooh.
Once you see that, you're like, oh, it's so bad. You just see this little flash dug out of the thing, way out of the way, and then run straight up the line. So that was another little thing. Just have a fucking different. I don't know how those little mistakes happen. Yeah, what was that?
Spadudios.
It was a rough one.
Yeah.
All that bitching being said, super excited for this match. Anything should really happen. I'm gonna go with the Elite because, like Charlie said, they need to win matches.
Yeah, Matt.
What voice was that?
I don't fucking know.
that Charlie's voice?
No. That was me speaking very calmly to Charlie to calm him down. He's very excited.
He is excited.
He is like a dog in heat right now, and he just needed calm down.
Fair enough. All right. Yeah, I had the Elite too, just for the sheer factor that, you know, it's Matt Hardy, and they can't have like all of their new toys lose in the first showcase of them.
That's fair. Devin has the Elite picking up the win. Charlie says this is when Adam Page turns on the Elite.
What?
That moment that they've kind of been somewhat alluding to over the past couple of months.
No.
He says
Charlie
says he's a heel. And he says BT Dubs Grimes greater than Page, by the way. So shots fired across the bow. Although Charlie is more of an NXT guy than an AEW guy. For sure. I know he's a big NXT guy.
Is he talking about Vic Grimes and that nasty ass fall? Is that what he's talking about?
Maybe. All right.
I do enjoy Cameron Grimes. I'm not gonna lie. I fucking
it's intriguing.
love Trevor Lee. I love the whole gimmick. I think the Cameron Grimes gimmick fits him really well. So I can't co-sign that, Charlie, man.
Yeah, like
Adam Page is a star, and he's not turning here either. That's what they want you to think, man. That's what they want you to think.
Obviously, I'm more of a WWE guy. I know, shocking. But Hangman Page is probably one of my favorite guys in wrestling right now. Like I love it, between like, you know, him being a cowboy shit and him being a drunk, and a fucking sprint on a football field in cowboy boots. Like everything he does, I enjoy. I think the guy is definitely a big time star.
Jim, he enjoys your work too.
Well, that's I appreciate that. I'm glad he listens and he's a fan.
Let me ask this before we move on here, though.
Sure.
Ryan, are you a bigger fan of Cameron Grimes than Big Jim was of Cameron?
Oh God.
No, I mean when Cameron is your favorite diva of all times,
true.
You know, there's no way you can do that. So Cameron Grimes is not my favorite diva. Up there though, for sure. It's
not even a thing. That's not
Jim,
even.
You absolutely. Why do you deny your Cameron love?
Not even. Come on. Got to be better than that.
How did that even start if it wasn't true?
I don't know how that started. I feel like there's things that get started that aren't true.
All right. I mean, if you think of all the recurring themes on 3 Count Thursday, they all have truth to them. Wrong Side of 30, Trained by Spanky,
22 minutes.
22 minutes, Jim's love of Cameron. I mean, they all just follow a pattern. Like, we don't just make these things up.
I mean, I don't know. I don't even remember exactly when.
0% chance.
There's that one too.
Right, but those are things that I like verbally, boldly, like either died on that hill, or I'm like, this is going to happen. At no point in the history, 6-year
you
history.
You said, I love Cameron, and I would give my virginity to her if I could get it back.
Come on, man.
No, that is not true. That is an untruth. That never happened on this show. Not in the 6-year history of this show did that actually happen.
I'll look it up. I'm sure it's in the archives.
You also said you would never own Pops. God
damn, this is a history lesson in all the things that except for this one about Cameron, that apparently I've said that and turned out to be true.
I don't know. The evidence just kind of adds up in favor of you saying that.
There's that saying about the exception to the rule. I feel like this Cameron thing is the exception to the rule.
No, we were looking at buying a cameo for one of the videos, and everybody was like, we should do the $1 Million Man. And Jim was like, dude, what about Cameron? And luckily we went with the $1 Million Man. But
I don't think I ever said, hey, what about Cameron? I don't think I ever said that.
I'll find the text.
If you can find
it's in the group chat.
Okay, Please go back and find that. I mean, we all have time right now.
We do. We have all the time. Someone call my mama. You loved Cameron.
Charlie
So
says
what costs more, a cameo from Cameron or a month of Sonny's OnlyFans?
What's the question?
Now,
more, the cameo from Cameron or a month of Sonny's OnlyFans?
What costs more?
Yeah.
Oh, the cameo from Cameron for sure.
Well, see, I'm gonna go ahead and say a month of Sonny's OnlyFans, but only because after that month expires, the cost that you're gonna have to spend in therapy to unsee what you just saw for the last month is going to be a lot more costly than a cameo from Cameron. Charlie says hashtag she pooted.
That's natty.
Oh, well, I mean they're all interchangeable. All right, let's move on here again. AEW is this Saturday. Don't forget that they are a Saturday night pay-per-view company as opposed to a Sunday pay-per-view company. This I saw a story about this pop up, whether or not the WWE should or might use the wrestlers ringside as fans, kind of like AEW does. I saw this pop up on PW Insider late last week or over the weekend. Either using the superstars from the show or like Performance Center superstars, use them at ringside as fans. But apparently Vince McMahon not too keen on that idea, so don't expect to see WWE copying the AEW model on that one. Obviously, no word on whether or not AEW doing that influences Vince's decision. But if history and rumor and innuendo prove true, that's probably at least part of it. Would you guys want to see WWE move to that style, having some, no matter if it's workers or as some of the restrictions in the state of Florida begin to ease up? I mean, I know the not the boardwalk, but the like merchant area at Universal or at Disney opened up yesterday, and I think Disney is like outlined I think they'll be open to the public in early June. So I mean, we're obviously seeing some of the restrictions in the state of Florida ease up. Like, do you hope to see the WWE continue with empty shows, or would you like to see them go to a small number of fans at ringside model like AEW?
Jim, I was busy looking up Cameron's cameo costs, so I didn't get the full question. But to book a cameo from Cameron cost you 40 United States dollars.
That's too
to book 1 month
A small loan of $1 million.
of Tammy Sitch's OnlyFans, it is only $29.99 a month, and she has over 2,000 fans subscribing to her OnlyFans site. So $29.99. You can get 1 month of Sunny saggy boobies and other pictures for you. I don't know what she puts up there. I don't know. I'm not a subscriber.
What?
I mean,
no.
if her Facebook post is any indication, she doesn't really hold back from what she posts.
Apparently.
No, she doesn't. And good on her, dude. I don't even care. Good on her.
Yeah,
For real.
If you're
Good on
making
her.
you're making what, $60,000 a month?
I would much rather spend the $30 for Sunny than a $40 cameo for Cameron. Jim, what would you spend your money on?
Out of those two,
Yes.
the Cameron cameo.
Yeah, fucking knew it. Thank you for admitting it. Move on.
That was such a long way to get me to say that.
No, it's not. It's not.
So would you like to see the WWE have some sort of fan presence at ringside?
Yes, absolutely.
Matt?
Not in the same sense that AEW does. Like, I don't want to see other wrestlers from WWE watching. Plus, like, it would make it a little weird during the Fiend or Bray Wyatt promos when you have the puppets. Although, I mean, now that I'm thinking of it, like if if Naomi's sitting front row and Huskus is next to her heckling, I mean
That could be a lot of fun, actually.
I'd be all right with that. But some fan interaction would be nice if they get to that point, and I think we are getting close. But I don't want to see them follow in suit with what AEW is doing, just because I think that's unique to AEW, and I do love that they do that.
Yeah, Charlie said that Cornette had said the idea that the WWE has over 100 talent signed to the Performance Center. Test them, bring their significant others, and there is your there's your audience right there. Yeah, I don't know if you want to go with like that many people. Just again because as of right now you are kind of trying to promote the safety precautions as they were. But in terms of when fans might return to WWE, this came from Wrestle Votes on Twitter. He said on Tuesday, I asked a source for an update on live events returning. It will remain status quo as is for now. The plan remains to return to live audience when permitted, which then will depend on each state. It's still a tricky situation. He says he wouldn't hold his breath for anything prior to around July. So, and again, we're starting to see things ease up at various locations around the country. So obviously, at some point, we're probably going to see some fan presence. Like if the college football world is leading us to believe anything, they're kind of exploring if and how many fans are going to be allowed in stadiums come this fall. NFL teams are kind of weighing the same thing. So it could certainly be, within the next couple of months. Charlie says when fans do return, he says he has $100. It says Izzy's in the front row. Brock Lesnar guys are probably going to be kicking the door of the Performance Center down too. I saw this pop up. Bruce Pritchard, there was an interview with Bruce Pritchard on SI.com. Obviously, a lot of media coverage around The Undertaker because of the Last Ride series, which is, again, phenomenal. If you haven't checked that out yet, unless you're doing what Matt's doing, waiting till it's all out, binge watching it, I definitely recommend catching up on it. I think the third chapter drops on the WWE Network this Sunday early in the morning. It's on demand, so you can watch it at any time. You can also check their daily schedule. I know we had a question in the comments on Sunday. Somebody was asking about is it airing? And I'm like, well, I mean, you can watch it at any time, but you can also go to the WWE Network or the WWE homepage, and they have each day's schedule for the WWE Network, so you can check that out as well and see if and when it's actually going to be airing live, if you will, on the network. So, but part of the interview, Bruce Pritchard said that The Undertaker, in his opinion, is the WWE's greatest creation, and that Kane is their second greatest creation. And he talks about the depth of story, the depth of to each character, and the length of time that the character has been able to last, and the staying power of each of them. I don't know if I necessarily agree that Kane is the number 2 creation all time of the WWE. I and this the topic came through my head is like, what do you guys think is the WWE's greatest creation? And I mean, the Undertaker has just always been up there. Like, I've always considered that to be arguably, if not the best character in the history of the wrestling business, at least the WWE. But to you guys, and again, if you're in the live video, give it a share. I'd love to get a lot of interaction on this topic. But what do you think is WWE's greatest creation?
Jim, I'm going to answer a bullshit answer in a cheap way out here. Their greatest creation is not a character. Their greatest creation itself is WrestleMania.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's fair. Like, and I was thinking back because when they aired WrestleMania 3 on FS1 the other week, and like just to see how different. I mean, obviously it's 30 plus years time, but like how different that was. But if you think about like the time around when WrestleMania 3 occurred, to fill a stadium that large with literally just a ring and a couple of screens for the people up in the note, like I still can't believe, like, obviously now it's just become second nature. Like if it's at a big football arena or a big football stadium, whatever, people are going to be sitting way up top and watching, the ring is this little thing in the middle of a stadium. But at the time, like WrestleMania 3 was just, to me, is unfathomable that you're going to pay, I don't know what a ticket cost to it, but to sit way up at the top of the Silverdome, brother. And just, and like the screens, it's not like the HD LED screens that you have now. I tend to think that the beginning of that show, when it's still light out in that the old inflatable dome, you probably couldn't see a whole lot on those screens at the start of WrestleMania. So I think that's a great answer, Ryan. Matt, how about you?
I mean, if it's just in regards to character, it would have to be Undertaker, I would assume, just because, like, I feel like a lot of the other beloved wrestlers weren't really necessarily a creation by the WWE itself, but more so just an evolution from said wrestler. So, if we're saying non-wrestling related, then to piggyback off what Ryan's going with here, beyond WrestleMania is just the network itself, and what they've been able to do with WWE Network in terms of getting a ton of fans to just buy back in just because of the ease of watching old stuff that they grew up with and a relatively low cost per month to enjoy all of that stuff, including new pay-per-views. So that would be, on the business sense, I think, their best creation that we've
sure seen. Yeah, no, the network and when it comes down to it, like, I'm looking at Saturday night, AEW is a $50 pay-per-view. Like I want to watch Double or Nothing. That is, like, right now with everything going on, like $50 is a little salty to me. And I know that's their business model, and they have 4 pay-per-views a year and they're all $50, but like when I'm paying $10 a month and I'm getting every pay-per-view and I'm getting, NXT UK, which of course I watch all of their pay-per-views, Ryan, and you have all the other content for $10, $50 for a 3-hour show is somewhat of a hard bargain to pitch me at this point. But yeah, no, the network obviously is a great one as well. Devin says The Undertaker is their greatest creation. Lou says he says he's not sure if it's a creation, but The Rock has to be the most successful thing to come out of WWE. I mean, it kind of, I don't know if it's the most successful, but I think he's the biggest crossover star. I'll agree with that. Like crossing over into entertainment. But
giving him a real run for his money.
What's that?
Batista's giving him a run for his money at this point. He's not going to come close, but of all the crossovers, Batista's the closest, and you would think it would have been Cena, but here we are.
Yeah, and
I guess... hello, blockers.
Yeah, I did. I saw. Did I watch? Was it Guardians of the Galaxy that I finally watched? And I did enjoy it, Matt. Charlie says WrestleMania was their greatest creation. So Charlie agrees with Ryan. Ryan, I like your Roman Empire shirt in the background there.
Jesus.
The resurrection of Gavin Stone.
So
man,
I bought Marine 5 and 6 not too long ago, and I just still have not even watched them.
Fighting with my family was pretty good.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
More than the Big Show.
Ready to Rumble was $5 on Amazon Prime to own in HD, so that was an easy purchase as well.
It's a great film.
I love Ready to Rumble. That's going to be one of the ones in the coming days that as I spend time down here in Studio L working on my WWE coloring book that I'm going to throw on the old DVD player.
Might have to have a watch along party then.
Oh, that's a good one. I was thinking that we should do another match watch along this weekend for Memorial Day weekend. We should throw one of those up here on the Facebook page, but we'll get the details out on that one.
Jim, real quick, let me circle back to that question. I did a quick looking up again, and it really depends on how you want to look at that question of successful. How was the question stated again?
WWE's greatest creation. That's how.
I mean, that's such a bizarre blanket open statement. If you want to look at like financially and things that moved merchandise, Undertaker probably doesn't crack the top 7, 10. If you really think back to like Taker merch, sure. There wasn't a ton of that in the era of like a new DX Suck It shirt, a new Austin Skull shirt, a new Rock Brahma Bull shirt. And even beyond, earlier to that, he had like those 2 shirts in the WWE catalog that you got with the WWE magazine. Like that's, sure. there wasn't a ton of Undertaker merch to create a ton of revenue. Longevity, sure. But if you want to look at money making, you have to look at John Cena, right? As their greatest creation.
Well, I think if you're going to that aspect of it in terms of money and merchandising and stuff like that, I think without question, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Number 2, it's John Cena.
Cena's number 1, or
yeah? Oh no, yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
I would have
headband, wristband, elbow thing, shoulder pad, whatever the hell it was.
Oh,
a new T-shirt color every month for the kids. John Cena.
I just would have thought that the
towel to hold in front of his face, like every three Raws, he had a new one that he would hold out.
That's right. I just would have
crowd and hustle on down to the ring.
I just would have thought that. I mean, at the peak of the Attitude Era and the popularity and the like, I mean, just the Austin 316 T-shirt itself continues to print money. I mean, like, you can still buy that on the WWE.
He was number 2. It's not a shabby. Not a shabby follow-up.
No, I'm not saying that. But I am actually surprised that Cena surpassed him. To be 100% honest,
you gotta think about, like, they weren't churning the merchandise out back during the.
Well, that's a good point too.
They are now. I mean, there's a ton of wrestlers from the Attitude Era that probably don't have a shirt, but Titus O'Neil got multiple ones. Carmella had multiple shirts. Like, yeah, I mean,
what is he wearing? Where's he going? We're losing him. Where'd he go? Oh, the 24/7 championship has its own fucking shirt. Oh, why would you buy that?
Why would you buy that?
That's as bad as the You Can't See Me shirt.
Why wouldn't I buy that, Ryan? Why would I not buy that?
I don't fucking know.
Ryan, I've done the social distance game, man. I mean, I feel
you are
like
the 24/7 champion for 3 Count Thursday.
I feel like I am the home 24/7 champion.
You are. So again, I looked it up. Cena 1, Austin 2, The Rock 3.
Okay.
Kind of a surprise here. Hogan at 4. And again, maybe that's just a longevity thing where, we came back, sold a shitload of shirts. Hogan returned, sold a shitload of shirts.
Like if NWO stuff.
And it might.
Or if they accounted any of his WCW got counted into that because of the purchase.
That could be. And DX, number 5.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, those probably would have been around the 5 that I would have put for the top 5 of all time.
Yeah. I mean, here's the great, go back to the Attitude Era, Jim. And just think, like you had said about those Austin shirts, like put yourself at like Green Dragon and how many bootleg shirts were made with the DX and the Austin shirt as well. Like there was a shitload of bootlegs.
I got a great story about the Green Dragon. It's funny that you mentioned Green Dragon. Charlie says he bought the Karrion Kross shirt, which is a solid one. I bought some masks this week from WWE shop. I did the. I think I did.
Like luchador masks.
I got to look it up. But you bring up. I vividly remember this at the height of the Austin 316 popularity. But we went to Green Dragon, and like I got my allowance or whatever, and I found my way to one of the old bootleg shirt areas, and I bought an Austin 316 shirt. And the instant that I showed it to my parents, which this was me screwing up. I should have waited till we got home, but the instant I showed it to him, my mom is like, "You can't have that," and I'm like, "What do you mean I can't have that?" She goes, "It's sacrilegious, you know. It's not okay." So she marched me back to the vendor.
No.
Oh yeah, she marched me back to the vendor and made him refund the money, because you know how things work there. There's all sales final, this and that, but it was yeah,
you're not getting receipts.
Mom got the money back. And only when I was probably about 32 years old did I have my first Austin 316 shirt, and it was the one with the it was just like the red and yellow outlined Austin 316 and the red skull on the back.
Yeah.
I bought that one on the WWE shop. Mom she did not make me return that one.
If nobody knows, it's a giant outdoor vendor flea market farm market sort of thing. Get produce and a bunch of like bootleg bullshit. Bootleg purses was a big thing.
Surgical tools, surgical tweezers, those sort of things.
Right, there's a place that sells like dog bones, which might be human. We don't know.
Probably human bones that they just like painted brown on it to make it look like it's like the rawhide, like the beef flavor.
Right. Imagine like the hillbilliest of hillbilly peoples. That's who's walking around Green Dragon.
Yeah. So when we talk about intern Mark has gone to Roots Market, which is the same sort of a thing. That's on Roots is on a Tuesday. Mark's been there like 500 straight weeks or something. Green Dragon's like Roots, but like worse. So,
right. It's like it's Roots's inbred cousin.
Yeah. It's on Fridays. So, if you're in the area of Ephrata, Pennsylvania tomorrow, they are still open. Go get your human bones and your COVID-19. So it'll be
ain't no one telling me to wear a mask at the Green Dragon.
I think my favorite t-shirt purchase ever was the first Atomic show we went to. Ryan bought the shirt at the table, and I just look over and he's unfolding it, and it's for an event, and the date is for like 3 years into the future. And he's just looking at the shirt with like, I think it was in 2015 we went, and the date on this says like August of 2017.
Yeah.
It was the wrong day for sure. I think it said like Saturday, and if you looked at the date, it was like a Thursday or something. Yeah, it was a bad shirt.
Yeah, I think we just passed that date like a year ago. I think
we did. I'll have to see if I still have that.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. I bought
that was on the bargain counter, I believe.
The masks I bought the Fiend mask.
Oh, nice.
The WWE Championship mask, and I actually went Ultimate Warrior with the third one. So I might grab a couple off of the.
They didn't have a Bret Hart one where it's just like a side.
Oh, come on. Come on.
It looks like a normal mouth, but it's just a little loopy on the one side.
God dang it, Bobby.
Come on now. That's not okay. I might look at a couple of the ones on the Pro Wrestling Tees. What's that?
They're AEW ones. Who the fuck's asking you to buy them?
Well, I mean, I got to get Le Champion, Chris Jericho's mask.
Fair, he's a WWE guy.
He's an ex-WWE guy. Maybe a Moxley one. Or a Matt Hardy one. Charlie says, anyone else looking forward to Brawl for All next week? Riddle and Thatcher in a cage. I mean, that should be a banger. For sure. Ryan, I think you told me you might have a topic, a point of discussion, if you will.
Yeah, we can do that if you want, real quick.
Let's hit that.
A bit of a point of discussion as we recorded the pre-show, post-show for a Patreon page. Also, you can hop on Patreon. Last weekend, I watched the very first what the fuck did I watch? Son of a bitch.
House.
The very first In Your House,
Your House.
the very first match, which was the old Bret Hart banger with
Hakushi.
Hakushi. Yes, with Hakushi.
And racist commentary.
And that one borderlined on a little icky.
It does not age well to 2020. I'll say that.
Nah, it doesn't. It doesn't. I don't know if. Yep, no, it doesn't. It sure don't.
And surprisingly enough, I don't think it was Jerry the King Lawler on commentary. It was Vince and Doc Hendricks.
And and I actually like them on commentary.
Not a bad commentary team, but let's be honest, Doc Hendricks and Jerry Lawler probably not that far apart.
Doot.
But yeah, very racist commentary and lots of maneuvers on the commentary.
Lots of maneuvers. I actually enjoyed Vince's and Doc's like chemistry, being able to talk back and forth. But you can hear Vince go to the maneuver word many a times when he doesn't know what to call what he actually saw in the ring. So you can check that on there as well on Patreon page, patreon.com/3CountThursday, along with today's pre-show, post-show. When I gave Jim the heads up, Matt, you weren't with us. Couldn't have given you the heads up. My apologies, Haas. I
didn't really think ahead either. So
yeah, that's fair. I saw it out on the Twitters. I didn't write down answers either. I wrote down the idea, but that's all I wrote. So I'm fucking myself. The idea was to pick 2 stars that you think are going to be the flag bearers in the future for every brand, for NXT, for AEW, and then Raw and SmackDown, like the main roster. So looking 5 years ahead, who do you think the future stars would be? Example, AEW obviously is going to be Chris Jericho. Obviously, the young buck Chris Jericho, way ahead. But for real, I like my AEW would absolutely be Sammy Guevara. I think he has star written all over him. And Jim, I don't know how you would feel about this one. But I was torn. Darby Allin, I don't know, maybe not. I went Jungle Boy. I think he has a ton of upside, a great look, and a great work style that I think could translate well into the future. So those are my 2 AEW picks. We can do everybody's AEW, NXT, Raw, SmackDown.
I think Hangman Page has the opportunity to absolutely hang on and be a huge star in AEW. And Lou, we didn't cover anything XFL related. I did catch that news earlier today. So if you hang on, we will probably touch on that here. We can touch on that before we close out. I'm gonna go Hangman, and man, like 5 years feels like such a long time. But I'm gonna go MJF. I just feel like that guy. I mean, I know he's already near the top and one of the more featured players in AEW, but he's just got so much potential to kind of be the Rock, if you will, of AEW.
Dude, MJF's 24 years old. 5 years puts him at 29, right in like the sweet spot of his career.
That's the right side of 30 still at that point.
Believe it or not, it is.
For sure. Yeah, MJF was one that I was thinking. I also could see them, down the road really building this feud in terms of couples. Cody and Brandy need that couple to feud with, and why not, have it be Kip and Penelope. So I could see them really putting a lot into those 2 as well.
Solid.
Yeah, really good answer. I mean, Kip, I think's pretty young too. So yeah, really good answer. We'll go NXT and then I'll just call it main roster. I don't want to do Raw and SmackDown split. I don't think that's necessary. We'll just call it main roster again, assuming nobody gets called up. My NXT choices would be Karrion Kross. Obviously, I think Killer Kross. Maybe it's just the flavor of the month right now, but I am so hot on what they're doing. I love the entrances to the presentation. His interaction with Scarlett, I think, is fantastic. I super, super hot on them. My other one's kind of a little lesser known. I'm going to go with Jake Atlas, cruiserweight competitor in the Cruiserweight Classic right now, or the Cruiserweight, championship match, or tournament, whatever they're calling it. If you remember back to the 2018 Undercover Boss episode with Stephanie McMahon. Jake Atlas was the guy in the gym in that episode.
Yeah.
Like wanting to be a wrestler. So that story has so much that they can tell in the future. So I think maybe not today, a lot of people can see it, but in 5 years, that story is going to have so much that they can tell and really call back to the Undercover Boss episode. I believe he is out. So kind of a 5 years from now, you can center around a homosexual performer. I don't want to say gay character because that's not what he's portraying, but somebody that is out. There's just so much good that can come from something like that. So Jake Atlas would be my number 2.
I know for NXT, I know he's being he's a featured player, somewhat on the main roster on Raw right now. But Austin Theory, I think Austin Theory being the featured player on Monday Night Raw right now is a product of the current situation. I don't think he is pushed to the main roster in the Zelina Vega stable without the pandemic and without the empty arena era. So I think coming out of this, I think you could see him settle back, quote unquote, to NXT and be a shining star there. The guy's 20 years old, 21 years
22.
old. I mean, he's incredibly young and incredibly talented and can be an absolute flag bearer for that brand. And since we're talking 5 years from now, my other featured player here is once AEW is put out of business by the WWE, Riho will be a featured NXT Women's Champion post the rise and fall of All Elite Wrestling.
You're a whore.
All right. To kind of piggyback off of the first pick for Jim, because I do really like the Austin Theory pick. So just knowing who's in Evolve right now, since that's kind of the step Evolve and then NXT, I would say AR Fox would be a pretty decent chance of getting to NXT and making a run there. And then in terms of the women's side of things at NXT, haven't seen too much from her there yet, but I think there's potential, but that's going to be Shotzi Blackheart, just from everything we've seen from her on the indie scene. I think that she could be kind of a staple in that women's roster, take them back to the way they used to be in terms of like the 4 horsewomen.
Yeah, that's really solid. I think they had a really good Shotzi package last night on the NXT show. I got about halfway through that. I believe that was last night that I saw that, but her like riding around in a tank, just talking about some other women in NXT. So yeah, they can strap a rocket to her, and she's just so unique. She's a great call, Matt. Main roster. I ended up with 2 tag team folks, not on purpose, but I think we will see the Shawn Michaels rise out of these 2 tag teams, and the Marty Jannetty's will be sent to the back and eventually out of the WWE.
Wow.
I'm sorry. I'm going to call it like I see it, but we're going to see Otis. I think there's main events star power with him. Yeah, no, Tucky's gone. I'm sorry, Tucky. Tucky's not there. Tucky, there's not much there on Tucky. Not much there on Tucky, but I think Otis we can have a lot of fun with. And then unfortunately, I mean, I'm going to go with Montez Ford, man. I think the guy's an absolute star. He can be a single star. Unfortunately for Dawkins, that'll send Dawkins packing as well. But Montez Ford, the guy has a superstar just written all over him.
Yeah, I could definitely see those. Mine are Bianca Belair. I think she absolutely has the potential to be a generational star for the WWE and the women's division. And man, 5 years from now, I'm gonna go a man that is gonna proudly carry the WWE championship 5 years from now. I don't know if you guys have heard of him. He's more beast than man. Brock Lesnar 5 years from now will be a flag bearer for the WWE.
Yeah, he'll be on the right side of 40, I'm sure.
Sure, yeah. I actually had Bianca in mind too, so I'll just still use that answer just because I think that there's so much that they can do with her. So young, very athletic. I think the fans love her. And then in terms of the men's side, you know, we always kind of look to see who's killing it in NXT. That's going to be the next person. You know, we saw it with Rollins. And I think the next one is obviously going to be Adam Cole, that they would just trust to hold any title, either Raw or SmackDown. But I mean, Adam Cole makes a ton of sense to be the face of your company in 5 years for WWE. And on the subject of Otis, do we have the clip yet from Money in the Bank where he's just holding the pie and he goes, purr?
No, I should probably get that one though, because that was pretty spectacular. But yeah, I definitely agree that Otis is there's so much potential there, and I know he's not for everybody. You know, there's a lot of people that don't necessarily get it. But the dude's over as fuck right now, and I think I also agree, and I don't remember who I saw say it or heard say it. But I don't know if Otis wins the Money in the Bank championship, the Money in the Bank briefcase, if we don't have the empty arena stuff. Like I mean, the pop would have been huge. But I just think that there's certain people that have gotten that have benefited from the empty arena stuff, and I think Otis is one of them.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong there. I mean, he's 28 right now. He's 33 in 5 years. Yeah, yeah, you know what? Otis in 5 years, he will at least have one championship reign.
I want to say 33 was the age that,
yes,
that whoever the person was, Jim.
It was Randy Orton.
Okay, yeah.
Randy Orton was yeah, for whatever reason, 33 seemed to be and if you look at like who like some of the top players are in W, all of them are on the wrong side of 30 at this point, or just about all of them.
Yeah.
But
I mean, Orton 40 now, so
yeah, so I mean 6 years ago even 34. So yeah, I think
he was on the wrong side. Yeah.
I think I said 30 for some reason. 33 was the age that stuck out as the wrong side, and he was 1 year past expired. So but let's get the Lou's topic here real quick, because he asked about the XFL. And I saw this come up. It was either yesterday or today. But it appears the Athletic reported that Vince McMahon may be looking to buy the XFL out of bankruptcy court. And this is an interesting thing, that filing bankruptcy on the XFL is not something atypical of businesses. I mean, we saw this week, I think it was Pier 1 Imports, JCPenney, there's a couple others that have filed bankruptcy, and that doesn't necessarily mean they're going out of business. It means that they are restructuring the company. The XFL folded, filed bankruptcy, and now there's been inquiries, at least in St. Louis and Seattle, about reinstating lease agreements with the venues in those cities. So it's definitely going to be something that we keep an eye on, both from a wrestling Vince McMahon standpoint and me as a sports fan, because I did enjoy what the XFL was doing. Obviously, a global pandemic that shuts the world down didn't bode well for a first-year athletic league, but I have a hard time believing that it would survive, being able to come back. But crazier things have happened, I suppose, and it'll just be something that we kind of keep tabs on.
It'll be good shit.
All right, just a few more things here. The Intercontinental title tournament started up last week on SmackDown. Daniel Bryan.
I'm out.
Oh, yes, go ahead.
Really, though, realistically, Jim, 0% chance this comes back, right?
0% chance that the XFL comes back.
0%.
0%.
How much do you want to see it come back? Do you even give a shit at this point?
I'd be fine with it coming back. If it doesn't come back, it doesn't come back, but I'd be fine with it. I enjoyed it.
Okay, but you're not heartbroken.
No. In the grand scheme of things, no, I'm not heartbroken over the loss of the XFL.
Matt, what say you?
It's funny you pointed down because I'm above you on my screen. So
That's fine. You're not. You're not on the
below
screen,
on
though.
mine as well.
Yes.
Ryan's that way. You're that way.
okay, so Jim's this way. Ryan's
Jim's this way for me.
All right.
If you were to pull it up like how it's streaming, I believe right now, to the left would say Jimbo, to the right is Ryan, and then to the bottom would be Matt.
Yeah, Matt. Well, it's really funny that the broadcast, which is coming off of my computer, is different than the screen that I'm looking at. So if I look at the broadcast screen, it's different than the actual screen.
You know what? We should just say fuck it and not do these anymore then.
No, I disagree. I think this is a
Hang
good
it
thing.
up. What a maneuver.
Matt, are you heartbroken over the XFL?
Oh, is that the question? I thought it was, do I think it's coming back?
Either or.
First, percentage that it's coming back.
0% chance.
Yes.
And then am I heartbroken? No. I mean, I will say though, like I did spend a solid 2 hours the other weekend watching cornhole. So I would say that, like if the XFL was still around, I would be enjoying it, and I would probably like have my New York Guardians tattoo idea already planned out. So I do hope it does make a comeback, just because I liked what they were doing. I really liked the kickoff thing.
Yeah,
that was solid. I don't necessarily like the 1, 2, and 3 point extra point thing that they had, but they did have some really fun like ideas to incorporate into football. And I would have liked to see like by next season what they would have evolved into in terms of like playing around with the rules. I liked being able to hear the coaches, so I do miss it, but I'm not heartbroken that it's not around.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, back when the quarantine and everything first started, I mean, I watched like marble racing and slippy steps climbing on ESPN 8 the Ocho. So if you give me an opportunity to watch actual football, I would take the Arena Football League back at this point. I would take the XFL back. I would take the AAF back. I would
let's not go too far.
All right, that's fair. I would not take the AAF.
Jim, are you excited for Ultimate Tag?
I recorded Ultimate Tag. It seemed kind of American Gladiators-ish on the commercials, so I'm going to check that out. I'm also going to check out Holy Moly Season 2.
I'm going to ask you
this Sunday. I didn't watch like every week last year, but I am probably going to watch it. My wife saw the commercial for Holy Moly and said that she's actually interested in it, so I have that set to record. There is live golf on this weekend. Tiger Woods, the Tiger, Phil Mickelson, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. That airs Sunday at 3:00 on AEW channel, TNT, and TBS, and all of those. But no, I would, and I too, like you, Matt, I did watch some of the cornhole.
Really invested into that.
It was like, crazy.
I was like cheering on people. I was like, "Oh,
goddamn bag!"
Yeah, it got intense. I was like, "Man, I really do miss sports." Not enough to watch the horse challenge that they did on ESPN, because that was god awful. Like,
dude,
10 minutes
of
it.
So the horse thing, it was really funny because like the first week that everything was shut down, Preston and Steve on WMMR did a something similar to the horse thing where they had like callers Colin, I forget exactly how they did it, and theirs was produced so much better than what ES fucking PN put on. It was baffling. I mean, I only caught like 5 seconds of the ESPN one because
there was just like no continuity from it. Like they had Chauncey Billups versus Trey Young, and Chauncey has like an actual basketball court in his backyard, and he's like, "All right, I'm taking a 3," and then Trey Young's like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna shoot from my garbage can here in the driveway." It's like,
first of all, how do all of these guys not have a basketball net at their house?
Like they had net, but it's like what we would have had in our driveways growing up. Like
it's crazy.
They don't have painted lines or anything.
Like when they did one of those like charity concert things, Elton John had to have a piano shipped to where he was. I'm like, how does Elton John not have a piano? Like, I just assume that that's a thing that Elton John has. Like, I assume Tiger Woods has a golf hole in his backyard. Like, like if you're a golfer, you have golf holes. If you're a basketball player, you have a basketball net. Like Elton John has a
Was
piano.
Elton at his house?
I don't know if he was at his house or just a property that he stays at when he's in the States or something, but still, I mean,
Like, have you tried to move a fucking grand piano? It's not an easy thing to do. You don't just go down to the Walmart and buy a piano, Jim.
Like, I don't think Elton and his husband and his kid are lifting the damn piano onto a moving truck, but I would be under the assumption that he has, I don't know, movers that move the fucking piano.
Multiple pianos. Like, it's not like Elton John's strapped for cash. He's like, hey, I really
Right?
can't afford to put a grand piano in this house. Like,
That's a fair point.
Let's pick up the one from the British house and move it here to New York City.
gotta tighten our belts, family.
Like, come on, man.
Concerts are drying up right now. He made the fiscal choice.
I guess, man.
He's not Billy Joel. Tap the brakes.
All right, let's keep going here. Intercontinental title tournament kicked off last weekend. Daniel Bryan defeated Drew Gulak on SmackDown in Gulak's final hour with the WWE. And then Elias defeated King Corbin to advance to the second round. Coming up tomorrow night, Jeff Hardy will take on Sheamus in the opening round of the Intercontinental title tournament. And then AJ Styles will take on Shinsuke Nakamura in the final opening round matchup. So Daniel Bryan, Elias, Jeff Hardy or Sheamus, AJ Styles, Nakamura. What do you guys hope that the final match in this tournament is, and who do you hope comes out as the new Intercontinental champion?
Oh God, I wasn't listening.
And third part of the question: do you care who the Intercontinental champion will be?
Right. I wasn't listening again. So I'm gonna say Santana Garrett shows up again, and does a crossover thing. And I heard you say Daniel Bryan, so I'm gonna say Daniel Bryan, Santana Garrett in the finals, and Bryan will win.
Very good, Matt.
I don't care though.
Okay.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, that because I haven't looked at like the seedings, but it could end up being Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles in the
It could.
final,
It
right?
could. They are in separate regions, if you
And
will.
that's what I would like to see. Doesn't matter between those two who has the belt. I think both of them could do good things with it. Do I care? Not really. And then fourth follow-up question here. Of all the people involved in this IC tournament, is there anyone wrestler whose shirt you do not own? Because I do not own Corbin, but I have a shirt for everyone else, sadly, including Sheamus.
Okay. I hope that the final match is Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles. I hope that AJ Styles is your new Intercontinental champion. I mildly care, which is such a shame to say about the Intercontinental Championship. Jason in the comments says Honky Tonk Man will return and be the new Intercontinental champion.
Jeez.
And to the fourth part of the question, I don't own a Jeff Hardy shirt. I used to own a Sheamus shirt. And I do not own a Drew Gulak shirt. So 5 out of 8 I do own though.
Shit, I'm missing one. Who's the other? Styles, Daniel Bryan, Corbin, Hardy.
So it's Bryan, Gulak, Hardy, Sheamus, Elias, King Corbin, AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura.
Oh boy, that's tough. I don't own an Elias shirt. I own an Elias scarf though.
You do.
You own the scarf.
That was a Christmas gift.
That's a gift from me.
That's right. Well, you bought the guitar picks, didn't you?
I do have the guitar picks. The guitar picks are cool. They're actually pretty close. I'll try to find one. I know they're somewhere around my desk.
I should have bought those.
I don't have a Gulak shirt. I have the towel though. The amazing Gulak
Oh,
towel.
I have an amazing Gulak's towel, so I do own a Drew Gulak merch.
You have my amazing Gulak's towel.
I do, but I also have one of my own somewhere.
Oh, you do? Oh, okay.
But yes, yours is the one that used to hang in the
one that's
studio.
hanging up. I have a Hardy shirt, but it's like a size large. Ain't fitting me, but I have it for some reason.
Nice head, like a bandana.
Yeah, if I ever need something. But yeah, so 2 out of 3 ain't bad, like Meatloaf said.
So you both own Corbin shirts?
That was another Christmas gift.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure I bought Ryan the King Corbin shirt, and I bought myself the King Corbin shirt.
Okay. I almost owned the Lone Wolf Corbin shirt from when he was in NXT, and
Okay. Yeah, I hated the Lone Wolf, but I like King Corbin.
pull the trigger on it.
End of days.
And to be fair, the Elias shirt I own, it's technically Lauren owns it because she loves Elias.
I love Elias. I
Does
bought
that
his
work?
first
Is that
one. I don't
clear?
have. I had the original Elias tour shirt. I
That's
like and I like that they did it that way. Like his first two shirts were, it's a solid pick. That they did like like a band's tour shirt. I think that was solid.
That guy.
Oh, that's even cooler. That third pick is even cooler.
Solid one, yeah.
Someday
So
we'll
set
have
up-
like
well,
a
actually,
showcase of the most random merch we own, like that we bought. Like I know I have the John Cena dog tags that Ryan gave me for Christmas, and the Daniel Bryan toothbrush that Ryan gave me for Christmas. But like
oh, dude, so much random shit.
stuff that I've like personally gone out and bought for myself. I'll have to like pull that together.
Yeah,
just to showcase it somewhere.
I know I've got a couple of like pendants that have come in like the mystery boxes. Like I think I have like a Braun Strowman pendant, like a John Cena pendant, hanging out somewhere. But yeah, I'll have to try and maybe dig some up. All right, couple of news pieces before we wrap up the show this week. The Undertaker. It was reported in the Wrestling Observer newsletter that the Undertaker signed a new 15-year contract with the WWE back in 2019. That contract will keep him with the company until 2034, giving him one of the longest tenures for anyone in the company's history, let alone for a wrestler. He will obviously will keep him affiliated with the WWE for the length of the deal. Now, at least, I mean, I don't assume that he's going to be wrestling through 2034, but I just think that this is one of those things where it kind of becomes a Legends deal and a retirement package for him, and kind of more of a thank you for your years of service is the way I kind of look at it. But not surprising if there's anybody that is going to have a deal until the end of time. I would imagine it would be good old Mark Calloway.
Yeah, no, I think this is well deserved for Mr. Calloway, the Undertaker. I don't know how we can even describe him anymore, because the curtain's been so jerked back, which is again
it's
just
been
insane to think about.
Yeah.
Really, it is. Matt, you're gonna absolutely love. I don't want to talk too much about it, but you're absolutely going to love the documentary. But it's really cool to know, like, it took one StarCast signing that never even happened for Vince McMahon to open that wallet and be like, "Hey, big guy, let's never have this happen again."
He was announced for StarCast, and then like Conrad was like, hey, probably not going to happen, folks. And then it came out that Undertaker signed a new deal. There wasn't a length on that deal, and now it's come out that it's 15 years, pretty much the lifetime deal Brett never got.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one's kind of a no-brainer, but good call on that one, Ryan.
Yeah, I mean,
I know
it is well deserved. I mean, it's akin to like a Legends deal. I think any sports company would do with their big name players. I know, like, if they're not signed, they're involved as like a consultant or something. Like Iverson and Dr. J do a lot with the Sixers. I mean, the Eagles do a ton of that, like with Dawkins, with Westbrook. So it makes sense, and it is much deserved to take care of.
Well, isn't that kind of like what Eric Lindros just signed on back with the Flyers? Like, he's kind of like a goodwill ambassador for like the Flyers. Like, I think it's that kind of a situation.
I love that we're talking about goodwill and new contracts and things like that. Is there any other sport contracts anybody would want to talk about? News coming out today? Anything about any other quarterbacks contracts?
No, there was no actual news today. I don't.
No news today. It's all just rumor and innuendo, huh?
Yeah, some rumor and innuendo today.
Okay.
But so there's nothing really to talk about. Jason has a quick question here in the comments. He says he binged a ton of the Dark Side of the Ring. He is now depressed. Yeah, that's a tough series to binge watch. But he says, could there ever be a bright side of the ring? If so, what stories would they cover? I mean, I think that would be a great spinoff, especially if the if the people who produced Dark Side would go that route. In terms of what they would cover, Edge came back. John Cena's done a lot of Make-A-Wish. I mean, I don't know that. Like, I mean, here's the thing: big time wrestling fans would watch it, but I don't think you're gonna grab anybody new with the bright side. Like, that like good news doesn't sell.
That shit doesn't sell TV. Nobody wants to care.
Dateline in 2020 and all that shit. They don't do good stories. It's always the murdered housewife and the babysitter and stuff like that. So it's yeah. I mean, I would watch it, but I don't think you're going to actually see it.
Go give AEW referee Bryce Remsburg a follow on social medias. He had been talking about this for a few weeks and was taking some suggestions from fans of potential topics if he were to ever do, or anybody would ever do a bright side of the ring. And I saw a lot of them I know are independents. Obviously, the creation of AEW was, I think, one of them. Jarvis Cottonbelly was one. So a lot of really fun answers. But read through them. Give our friend Bryce, former guest of the show, give him a follow on social media. But had talked about that.
Yeah, and speaking of Dark Side of the Ring, obviously the Owen Hart episode aired this week, and it was a rough watch. I'm not gonna lie. That one you learned a lot that we didn't know before, which is what has just been what I've enjoyed about the Dark Side series. But around the release of the series, Martha Hart has done a series of interviews, including one with Forbes. And as part of it, she spoke on whether or not Owen Hart, and this is a topic we've discussed numerous times over the 6-year history of this show, whether Owen Hart will ever go into the WWE Hall of Fame. I know he's been inducted to at least one Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, but she said, "I would never let a company I held responsible for Owen's death try to honor him, especially with a fake Hall of Fame that doesn't even really exist. And there's not even a hallway of fame. It's not real. It doesn't exist. There's no place that you can go and visit. It's just a made up and make believe, and it's all done for the purpose of making money because they just have a show where they have a celebration. It's just absurd." And I know, because I know there was the question on, or somebody had posed this on one of our social media accounts this week, that whether or not, like, after like Vince is gone and years from now, like, if Martha passes away, like, would the kids, Owen's kids, allow him to be put in the WWE Hall of Fame? And I think Oj on the Dark Side episode basically kind of addressed the same thing, that they hold wrestling responsible and the WWE responsible, and basically they don't ever want Owen tied to the WWE. And I've been a person that for years was always like, he should be on there or should be in the Hall of Fame. But after watching that and hearing from his immediate family's side of it, I am totally fine that Owen Hart will never be in the WWE Hall of Fame because like, yeah, if you haven't watched the episode, Devin says he thinks he's skipping it. I assume just because the difficulty around watching it is not an easy watch. But yeah, I have absolutely no issue with Martha and the Oj and Athena not wanting him in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Jim. This changed my opinion on that.
Good night, Charlie. Too sweet.
But I think I was in the same camp as you, Jim, that we should recognize Owen for what he's done. And he does deserve, in fact, to be in the WWE Hall of Fame. But hearing Martha and Oj make their cases, it's absolutely the correct thing to not allow him to be in there. And to Martha's point, it's a thing that the WWE uses to sell tickets. She's not wrong. No, there's not a brick and mortar that fans like you and I, Matt, we can go to and celebrate these people. There's nothing like that. So all it
Even
really
if there was,
is,
there would be admission.
what?
So and even if there was an actual Hall of Fame, I mean,
but that's different. I think then we can still go and celebrate and physically be there and see
Fair.
like Owen stuff and things like that. Right now, it's not, and all it is a ticket grab, and
T-shirt.
and fodder for the network. So she's not wrong in calling that part out. They've done what they've done with the Owen Hart Foundation, or whatever the actual name was, that carries Owen Hart's name, and he is recognized much more than just a professional wrestler, which again was only a portion of Owen's life. I've often heard that, you know, Owen wanted to get out of the business, make the money, get out, be a family, be a dad. But man, I don't know. And if Devin's still listening, Devin, I hear what you're saying. I would recommend checking it out. It is hard to watch. It's not, they don't show him falling or anything like that. So if you're thinking that's what you're going to see, you're not. But to see, you know, the way that this changed their lives and their lives beyond that moment, you know, is wild. Side note, not necessarily about Owen. I don't know how JR and King did what they did that night. And you know, like, screw, you know, if there's truth to the Kevin Dunn comment, oh yeah, he's dead, you're back in 10. That's a brutal fucking thing to say.
Like, and I'm not in no way, shape, or form, am I defending Kevin Dunn.
I get he has a job to do.
You're right. I mean, at that point, he's doing his job, and they are on the air in 10 seconds, and somewhere the communication broke down to relay the information to your commentators. But I mean, obviously a chaotic situation. But yeah, here, like, so I think at times watching it, like, people look at that quote, and it is a damning quote. I am not taking that away, but, you know, oh, he's dead and you're back in 10, 9, like, but in the same time, and this is coming from somebody that has worked even at the college and high school level TV production. When you have an airtime, you have to go.
No doubt. I'm not going to disagree with that.
That's where that came from. Not that it makes it okay, but that's where it came from. I saw this tweet from our friends over the New Age Insiders, and it just said the most sickening photo in wrestling history, and it's just the shackle.
Yeah, right.
If you haven't seen the episode, you know, give it a watch. You'll understand. If you have seen the episode, you know exactly what that means. And you know, at my work, we have people that are riggers, and I have never seen a shackle like that used for anything in terms of actual, like, riggers and flies and anything like that in my entire life. And the fact that was used, dude, my God, like, just sheer negligence, absolute negligence.
Yeah, I missed the pre-show because I was finishing that episode, so that's what I was doing before we came on air today. And it does not paint a good picture. Not that any of the episodes really do. I feel like the Owen Hart episode could have gone the Benoit route and been a 2-part episode. I think there was a lot more that they did not dive into that I would have liked to have possibly gotten some answers to. The thing that stuck out to me, besides that he's dead, you're on in 10, was just Vince's handling of the media afterwards at his press conference did not really paint him in a good light. I'm not going to get into today's politics and who it reminded me of, but from that comment alone, you can probably get the gist of where I'm going. But it was just kind of like a how dare you, like, even question the shitty thing that I just did.
Right. Like, I don't like your tone.
Right.
Like, really?
Come on.
Really? And you know, and it reminded me of, like, the Bob Costas interview. Like, and I know, like, that's the way that Vince McMahon in the 90s handled the media, because the media was never friendly to the WWE. But Jesus, like, you have to be better in that moment. Like, they're not questioning the validity of your company. Right. They're literally talking about a guy who died on your watch. Like, and you don't like somebody's tone
went on, like how the wrestlers went on, how the production went on, how JR and King went on that day, regardless of should it have been stopped, obviously, for the crime scene purposes alone. But just like if I'm at work and a coworker dies in a brutal fashion, there's no way that I'm like 2 minutes later, it's like, okay, well, I still have to
Right.
call and try to recruit people to come out and fill jobs. Like,
Right.
there's no way that show should have continued for humanity's sake and for crimes.
and I mean, really, there's no way in the social media and because I don't think I don't think WWE was public at this point. I think they were still private at that point.
It was WWF years, so I think that they were still private at that point.
Yeah, I don't believe they were publicly traded. Ryan, I think maybe you might be looking up catching the date on that. But I there is no way that today that the show goes on, because first off, like there was that you never saw it. To this day, there has never been any video of Owen falling
Right.
seen. Unfortunately, in today's world,
It would
there's 13,000 people who have that on video.
Right. That's what, because I was watching it with my wife. And so I was telling her that it was tough to watch because she came down later in and she was like, oh, do you actually see? And I said, no, I don't think that video exists. I've never actually searched for it anyway. But I mean, in today's society, that's on Twitter in
Seconds
after it happens.
I mean, there's probably people who are live broadcasting at that point.
I mean, honestly, there's probably a video of that somewhere. I would think that WWE runs that hard cam.
I'm sure WWE has it.
There is a video. Thank God it's never been released, but I'm sure there is a copy somewhere of this video.
Sure. Yes. Somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah, somewhere.
Right. It is not publicly released.
Right. Correct.
Owen died May 23rd, 1999. The WWE went public October 19th, 1999.
Okay. Yeah. So I
thereafter, but still,
I think if this happens the day after WWE goes public, that show doesn't happen. The minute that accident happens, I think that show's shut down.
Yeah,
because at that point you are responsible to shareholders, not yourself. So,
I was telling Lauren, because I did watch the pay-per-view back when it happened, and I have not watched that pay-per-view since. So that footage of them cutting to King or to JR and then King and JR or King coming back from the locker room, like I hadn't seen that since over 20 years ago. So to sit and watch that now, that was what kind of unsettled me. Like, I have not watched this since I was a teenager for a good reason. And it was tough to just sit and take that all in.
I mean, we've done commentary, the three of us together. Like, could you imagine? I mean, not even somebody having an accident and passing away, but it's somebody falling off the top of a ladder and breaking their leg, like a horrific injury, and having to collect yourself to continue the show and to continue doing commentary, but then to actually find out that somebody that you've traveled with, that you've hired, that you've known for a decade or whatever it is, had died, a couple of feet away from you. There's no way. There is no way.
I do not know how Jarrett cut that promo. And
my God,
thinking back now, like the Raw after that, I remember just like no one even really wrestled. I think Mankind and Billy Gunn.
There was like one or two matches, I think.
But for the most part, it was just the whole memorial thing, like Triple H sobbing. I'll never forget. Like
Mark Henry.
So yeah, it was just like that whole Raw, and I'm glad they didn't really touch on that in the Dark Side episode, because that should have remained separate and not tried to, condone anything about what happened on WWF.
And also, I think they always air an extended cut of the Dark Side episodes, and I believe from Martha Hart being on Jericho's podcast last week, I believe that there's going to be a few extra minutes of things. So I think they usually I don't know if it's dropping over the weekend or it drops next week, but look for the extended cut of this Dark Side episode.
I didn't know that. It's good to know.
Yeah, I don't know that I've watched any of the other ones, but I will check this one out.
Yeah, cool.
All right, just the last couple of news items we're going to hammer through quick here, and then move on. Indie wrestlers Caleb Conley and Zane Riley, known as the Revolt, have sent a cease and desist letter to former WWE superstars Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood. Of course, they formerly the Revival were going to be named the Revolt on the Indies, but they have been sent a cease and desist. According to Wheeler and Harwood's attorney, they will now be appearing, it looks like, using the name FTR. Will be their new tag team, which honestly, I like FTR better than the Revolt. I did not like the Revolt name myself.
I didn't think the Revolt name was ever set in stone. I thought it was talked about.
Well, I guess they were using it with some of their merchandising.
Oh, okay.
So that's where this stemmed from.
That's enough to do it then.
Jim, that's the second time you've said merchandising in this episode. So for the next show, can you get yogurt from Spaceballs saying merchandising, please?
I will. Let me write that down. Spaceballs merchandising. Perfect. I will try and get that clip. And what was the other clip that I was supposed to find?
Otis saying pie.
Oh, Otis Pie. Gotcha. I will definitely try and get those on the soundboard for next week. Alexa Bliss, in an interview with NDTV, was talking about the safety measures that the WWE. I know we talked about how AEW actually has the rapid COVID-19 test. The WWE does not use those. However, she said, before we go into the Performance Center, we have to have our temperature checked. We get evaluated by a doctor. We have to fill out a questionnaire that says we haven't traveled, we haven't gone anywhere, and we do not have any symptoms. Everything is being cleaned to a medical grade standard, and they're doing whatever they can to keep everyone safe once they're inside the Performance Center. So obviously they do not have the actual COVID rapid test, but everything beyond that, they are doing what they can to prevent any spread of illness. So that is good to hear that they are doing as much as they can right now. And then also this from Fightful.com, they spoke to a source high up in WWE who told them Roman Reigns, quote, does not seem in any rush to return, and nobody at WWE faults him for it. The person would note that right now no indication if or when a return could happen has been given, saying he could be back in 2 weeks, 2 months, or be out indefinitely. Roman Reigns, of course, not figured into any plans creatively at this point. Another source within WWE told Fightful.com Roman is going to make over $1,000 on Cameo every day. So even if they stopped paying him, it wouldn't matter. We've not been given any indication that Reigns has been pressured to return, and several high up in the company were not told as to why he was edited out of the Seth Rollins cash-in video package that aired recently. The source said, I have no idea. I can see it as, yes, you could read more into it, but I can also see it as Rollins and Drew were on similar paths. Another source said it was an out of sight, out of mind situation. I've said it before. I think people are reading way too much into this Roman Reigns stuff. I don't think Roman's in any bad standing with the company. I don't think he's in any danger of losing his spot. I don't think he's in any danger of not being with the company. I think once things are safe, I wholeheartedly believe that Roman Reigns will be back on our TV on Friday nights, as he was part of the SmackDown brand. Or, if they continue this brand-to-brand extension, he could be on both shows to try and pop a rating. Roman Reigns is a WWE guy, and I just think people are looking for a story that's not there.
Roman Reigns should take hydroxychloroquine, and he'll be fine. It's a great drug. It's not the best drug. It's a great drug. Roman Reigns will be fine.
Ryan, do you have a Roman shirt hanging behind you too?
I do. I'm a huge fan. I do. Yeah, it's right behind me. Yeah, huge fan. Huge fan. The
Yeah,
Roman Empire, where he's fisting the fucking ground.
Put on a pad though. On a pad.
Oh yeah, there's definitely a pad there. You don't see it though.
It makes a ton of sense that he is not there. I mean, he's got a lot of young kids. Certainly, I mean, with all of the health stuff that he's dealt with, sure does not want to go through any possible risk of catching a deadly virus. So,
Sure.
I mean, there is no reason for him to be in. And I mean, I don't fault him for it. I am probably the least likely to vouch for Roman Reigns of 3 Count Thursday. Not really a big fan of him, but I have zero issue with what he is doing. In fact, it makes me like him a little more. I'll join you. Yeah, let's.
There it is. There it is.
Everybody fisting. Everybody's fisting here on 3 Count Thursday.
Oh my.
All right, that we can leave it at that. I think we can leave it at that. Matt, who let everybody know about the Woman of the Week this week and where they can follow you, and we're gonna close this thing up.
Yep, got a few announcements here. So recorded an interview with Rosaria Elsa last night, backstage interviewer for MCW. Ryan and I always sing the praises of MCW, one of the best independent wrestling companies you can see on the East Coast, if not nationwide, but that's just us being biased because I don't think either of us have seen any West or Central Coast wrestling promotions at this point. So check that out. It'll drop on Saturday. Next week, as promised, it will be intern Mark with Gypsy Mac and Ariella Nix to discuss 90 Day Fiance. So if you didn't know that wrestlers love their 90 Day Fiance, they sure the fuck do. So on Tuesday, they'll record that. We'll put that out next Saturday. Woman of the Week this week is Victoria Pop from Hardcore Hustle Organization, H2O, fun wrestling company in the Jersey area. So if and when wrestling starts back up, make sure to check out that promotion. And Victoria, give her a follow. Last little tidbit, if you have an Xbox and you have not yet downloaded WWE 2K20, the deluxe edition, which usually retails at $89.99, is currently going for $17.99. So that's a big savings of $72 US. So you're going to be stuck inside for a while here. If you want to check out that game, now's the time at that price. And you can follow me on Twitter at 3CT, the letter N, Philly, as in Philadelphia, the number 8. No Sixers to complain about. Maybe we'll get Notre Dame back in time for me to send hateful tweets to Doug Flutie. Who knows? But fingers crossed we will.
Devin, we'll catch you next week, bud. Thanks for tuning in. Ryan, where can people follow you? Amen. Fuck CZW. I'll say it out loud. Fuck CZW. All right. You
follow me, RYNEAGLE, RYN Eagle. If you're not sure what's going on, find somebody's page that's worked at CZW. They've sold their licensing and shit, and they're selling footage, and they're rebranding their women page. I'm sorry.
Go to Lufisto's YouTube page.
It'll explain a lot.
Real well.
These are athletes. These aren't porn stars. So fuck what they're doing. It's bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. You can follow me at Big Jim Sports. You can follow the show at 3 Count Thursday, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Go to 3countthursday.com. There's our merchandise, our Collar and Elbow brand deal, our Patreon page, and much, much more. Make sure you're subscribed to all of our podcast channels. And until next week, guys, stay safe, stay smart, go for the pin, and wash your hands.